We are 5 days away from launching the Divi 5 design system, and I'm super excited today because we've just completed doing the buttons, the spacing scale, and the headings. Now, these are the headings, as you can see here. These are the buttons. We have two types, and then we have the spacing scale, but I'll show you in a moment how robust the spacing scale is. So how about we start off by applying this design system in a basic workflow. All right, so the first thing we're going to do here is to see what sort of headings we can use in our design. So I'm going to come over here, add a single column, and in here we are going to add a heading. So what's really cool here is when you select your heading, all you need to do is to now come over here to the top and then just select the heading type you want. So they're all labeled. So these ones are the really large ones, the K display. And over here we have our normal H1 all the way down to H6. So let's say we choose K large like that. Now we can do quite a lot with this. There's so many features we can add to this. The latest one, of course, is adding a gradient to our heading. So let's come over here and I'll show you quickly how to add the gradient. So if I scroll over here, you can see heading field type. If you go in here, you can choose gradient and then you can choose the gradient. Now, what's really cool here is there are two gradients already there for you. So if you choose that one, it will just select that gradient. But if you want to be a bit more creative, what you can do is to come over here and click on the add gradient. Now, of course, by default, you get these two colors, but you can also use colors that are already in our design system. So for example, if I click here, I can choose my primary color here. And then for the second color here, I can again list them and then choose my secondary color. Over here, I can play around with my direction. So I can go maybe 35%, hit enter. And you can see now that my gradient has been applied. So this looks really, really nice on a large heading. Now, this is also great because you don't have to make any changes to the screens or the different type of screens. So if I go to my tablet here, it's readjusted size. And if I go to my mobile phone here, the size stays as it is. I mean, it's just resized itself according to the screen size. At any point, if you want to change this, perhaps from this large because it's too big, you can go medium if you want to, and then this is the update. Now we can further go in and add some text, and from yesterday you can see this is our body text. But if you want to add a large text, you can just come over here and then go K text large, boom, just like that. But we're just going to keep it simple. Next, we can also add something really exciting here. So let's go ahead and add a group, and then I'll show you how we're going to be using our buttons. So in this update, we have brand new buttons. If I select this, we get our basic button here. But let's say you want to add another button. I'll just duplicate this. And then while I'm in my group settings here, I'm going to go to design, layout, and then I'm going to change my layout direction here to row, and now my buttons are side by side. So this is a typical layout that you normally see when you have buttons side by side. Now I can go in and choose, let's say for example, I want to go to a primary outline. Just like that, I don't have to go in and spend time designing these buttons. Pretty much everything is there for me. If I want to make these buttons secondary, I can just select that, come over here, and then I'll go to button secondary. And then over here, I can also go in and add a secondary outline just by coming over here, secondary outline. There we go. Just like that. And our buttons are set. Now, I want you to take a look at what happens here. So these buttons here also adjust based on screen size. So if I do that, I know you may have not noticed this, but it's gone a little bit smaller. And if I do that, you can see the button is definitely much smaller. Okay. Now we have a spacing scale. Remember, I mentioned that we have a spacing scale, a brand new spacing scale. Let's design something with that spacing scale. So I'm going to go in and add these three columns. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is to start off with a group. And in this group, we're going to add a few elements. I'm going to add an image. And then after the image, I'm going to add some text. And then after the text, in fact, this is a bit too much text. After the text, I'm going to add two buttons. So what I'm going to do is to click here on this plus button, add a group. And then in this group, we're going to add buttons. I just want to show you how to use these buttons. So as you can see, by default, we have this big button. So I'm going to go in here and choose a small button. So I'm going to say K primary SM for small. Boom. Okay, now we have a small button. And then in here, I'm going to duplicate that and then go into my group settings. Just like how we did before, I need the button side by side. So I'm going to make sure I do that. All right. So here's where the spacing scale comes in. If I select my group, I can now go over here to spacing and then click on assign presets. Now look at that. We have all these presets set for me here. So I can choose the one I want. So I'm going to go with medium. Okay. Now with this medium, I can go in and let's add a background color to this. So I'm going to go to my content, background. Now our design system has all our colors. So all I have to do is to go in and choose muted. I just want something very basic here. And then I'm going to fill in all this information. I'm going to go into the image here and add my image. Oops. Okay. So let's go to our image here and I'm going to go with this upload image. All right. So now we have our image there. Now, as I'm looking at this, I can see that this padding here is a bit too much. So I'm going to go to my design. So instead of padding medium, I'm going to get rid of that and then add padding small. Okay. So now you can see it's slightly much better. For my text here, I want the text to be small. So I'm going to come over here and say text small. My buttons here, I think are fine. And I can now go in and change the colors. So for example, maybe I want an outline of this. So K button primary small outline like that. Okay. So now we have our buttons and everything is all set. I've just created a new design here. So let's take a look and see what it looks like when I go to my smaller screen here. So you can see here that things have become small, but because I haven't used a grid, okay, we need to use auto grid, and this is the update that I'll be doing tomorrow. So here it's not looking great because there's no auto grid. But if we make this smaller, you can see that our buttons here are looking small. You see that? Smaller than they are when I come over here. So all our buttons here can be easily customized. I'm super excited about the design system now. As I mentioned, it's been designed from the ground up. In a few days, I will be adding a link which will have the early bird price to the design system. Because designing with this is going to be super amazing because it's going to save you a lot of time. As you can see, just by going in quickly here, I was able to go in and do quite a lot of things here in terms of the design because we have a design system. If we were to go in and do this manually, this would have taken us at least 30 minutes to come up with this. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow on day 3. Take care.